We'll appreciate that.
Jeannie and I, the year that she was president.
Yes, exactly. Paul gave it to me. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Volunteer of the Year Awards dinner. Seems like we were just here in September or October celebrating 2 years worth of honorees, but we're happy to be back in April hosting the event during National Volunteer Month. It seems like the fitting time of year to celebrate volunteers. For those who don't know me, I'm Megan O'Donnell. I am on the board of the Volunteer Center, and I get the privilege of organizing this event every year. I'd like to take a minute to recognize some of the past honorees of this award that are here with us tonight. I get to start with the 1973 Man of the Year, who is my father, Frank O'Donnell. From 1974, we have both the Woman and the Man of the Year, Janet Beal and Stu Hostler. He was on the list, but he didn't show up. So he's not here. From 1993, Phil Sterling. And Rosemary was on the list as well, but I don't see her either. So, from 1994, Marilyn Jenkins. From 2005, Donna O'Donnell. From 2008, Jack Gramlich. Another one who we thought was coming, and we lost a few people apparently. From 2012, I know he's here, Charlie Farrell. From 2013, Chris Arnold. From 2016, Doris Hildebrandt. From 2019, Tom Perkins. And from 2020, Janet Therian. I'd also like to say thank you to Ken Bush. He's here with his wife. He is the county legislator from the Van Buren side of the Baldwinsville area. So thank you for being here. He brought with him citations for both of our honorees from the county legislator, awarding them for being named the Baldwinsville Community Volunteer of the Year. So each of our honorees will get that. And then I also have a citation for both of the ladies from the New York State Assembly, from Bill Magnarelli. I will read this one, it goes for both of them. On this day, Saturday, April 30th, 2020, I honor Pam Fallis and Leslie Morelli for being recognized as the 2021 Baldwinsville Volunteer Center Volunteer of the Year. Whereas a great state is only as great as those persons who give exemplary service to their community, whether through participation in voluntary programs, through unique personal achievement in their professional or other endeavors, or simply through a lifetime of good citizenry. And whereas such service, which is truly the lifeblood of the community and state, so often goes unrecognized and unrewarded, now therefore be it resolved that as a duly elected member of the State Assembly of New York, I commend and recognize the dedicated service given to the community of Central New York by Ms. Pamela Fallis and Mrs. Leslie Morelli, in which we have an outstanding individual, one that is worthy of esteem of both the esteem of both the community and the great state of New York. So with that, I'm going to ask Meg Van Patten to come up to present the award to Leslie Morelli. And I'm going to tell you a story that the last time that I spoke with Mick Jenkins was at this event last year. And the one thing he told me was that people need to hold the microphone correctly in order for people to hear. So hold it close to your mouth. You don't have to yell or scream, talk in a normal voice. Don't hold it down here because then people can't hear you. So in honor of Mick, let's all make sure we do him proud in holding the microphone this evening. Meg.
Yes, I think we finally got it right at the library, but it took a long time to get the whole microphone thing set and trying to get people to do just that. Before I say anything about in terms of Leslie and why she has been nominated, I need to read this from Alex, her grandson, who's away at college. Grandma, congratulations. For everyone who doesn't completely know my grandma, she has been someone who very rarely gives herself credit. I am sure she said things tonight like, I'm not sure what I did to do this, or, oh, I didn't do anything special. But that is exactly what is special. The fact that you are able to make such a strong impact on so many people without giving it a second thought, whether it be something as simple as making someone a piece of jewelry because she thought that it would go well with their dress, or something as large and as heading up the Baldwinsville Public Library book sale year after year after year. What you see is just a daily activities many others see. As incredible acts of kindness, and that is what you do that is so special. Congratulations, Grandma. I love you. So, one of the things that Leslie's done with volunteers in the past was when I really first met her and got to know her, and that is when I was on the advisory board for Vera House North, for the Vera House shelter in the northwest portion of the county. We used to do what used to be a ladies' tea, but we didn't call it that because we figured the men wouldn't come. So we had an open house kind of thing. And Leslie and Abe one year were very gracious to host it at their home, opened up their home and just gave great hospitality. And even after the event was over and we were finishing cleanup, oh, don't you want to stay, have a glass of wine? Just very hospitable. She's also done things for St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Church, the Baldwinsville Volunteer Center Board, and she has been on the board and chaired the Taste of Baldwinsville back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And if you've ever been to that, that is major work. You know, they do all those baskets and things that they auction off and everything. That's a lot of work. In terms of the library, she is a past president of the Friends. She's helped facilitate one of the book discussion groups that meet monthly. And the big thing, of course, before the library was in the old building, when it was in the old building on Oswego Street, we did do some outdoor book sales at McCary Day. And the last McCary Day, it was raining and the books got in the mud, and the military group that was there doing exercises and things, demos, came and helped us pull the books out of the mud. And we were like, okay, no more remote book sales. So we moved into the building. I used to buy the nonfiction. Marilyn Laubacher, the previous director, used to buy the fiction. We'd be in the basement sorting. Marilyn would do like fiction, nonfiction, mysteries, romance, and I would do the 10 basic Dewey categories. And we would make a few $100s maybe. Then Leslie, heaven sent Leslie, and she, if you've ever been in the library basement, she has that thing so organized that we now make thousands of dollars on our book sales, which there is one coming up, in fact. And then of course COVID shut down, and then we couldn't for a while. So the first sale that we had, once we were able to start letting people in the building, was a great idea that Leslie came up with. And what they did, she and her volunteers, is they put the books in the plastic Kinney's bags, and it might have on the outside of the bag the name of an author, or it might be like mysteries or history or various topics, both adult, children's, everything. And then she made a list of what the topics were. And people would come to the parking lot entrance and form a single line, and we would give them the sheets, and they would check off which topics they wanted. And as their turn came, they'd walk into the community room. One of the Rotary volunteers would they'd hand that person the list. They'd pull the books and take them over to somebody that was sitting at the door by the parking lot door from the community room directly out to the parking lot. Give their $5 a bag, and off they go. Went very smoothly, and it was popular. And yeah, there was a long line going out the door. I think people were so anxious and so glad to get some books that it was a great idea that she came up with, and people really, really appreciated it. And on the staff, we really appreciate the efforts that she's put into it over these years. And it's just wonderful and pleasure to deal with, to work with. And like I said, she just it's so well organized that I can't imagine anybody that would have done as good a job, as great a job as Leslie did. So,
You have to get up now.
So it's a clock says 2021 Outstanding Volunteer of the Year, Leslie Morel. Congratulations.
Let's see. When I retired, I had to find something to do to keep me out of the bars. But I will say, nobody volunteers on their own. There's a lot of help, and thank you.
Very nice. How's that bar thing going?
Worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
I wrote this in case my phone didn't cooperate, but I can email it to you.
Okay. Before I get started on the next one, I have to open up my phone. So we used to, in the past, have the previous year's honorees do the presentations for this year's honorees. We changed that last year because we thought it would have more meaning. We asked the people who did the nominations if they would like to do the presentations. So Pam was nominated by Norma Whitman, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but she did send a little note that I am going to read before we have Janet come up to do the official presentation. So we start out. It's the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the afternoon of April 6th when I received the news that my dear friend, Pamela Fallison, had been selected as one of the 2021 Volunteer of the Year. And it was the best of times knowing Pam was being honored and recognized, not only for her many past years of volunteer service, but for the many volunteer activities which she continued or even began during this long pandemic. But on that same day, April 6th, I learned that the recognition dinner would be tonight, April 30th, and I realized I would not be here to celebrate with you and Pam. And I had recently completed all travel arrangements for a quick trip to Naples, Florida to accompany a 91-year-old friend to a very special event. I was torn, but chose not to cancel those plans. My sincere apologies to Pam for not being here in person to present the award, and my greatest congratulations to you for being granted this honor. Fortunately, luck stepped in the form of our mutual friend, the 1974 Woman of the Year, Janet Beal. Janet knows Pam well and has agreed to make the presentation.
Very nice.
I have a little tension tremor, so if the sound goes in and out, you'll understand. You know, if it's 1974, I have to have a few years on it. It's so good to be here, and so good to be doing this for Pam. And basically what I am doing is reading a letter that was prepared by Norma. And the letter reads, I am honored to have been asked to present the 2021 Woman of the Year Award to Pam Fallison in recognition of her contributions to the Baldwinsville community and even to the world. She was born in South Carolina, and her dad was serving in the Navy as a dentist.
I hope you get to eat sometime tonight.
Norma writes a lot. Pam was raised in Iowa and attended school there and college. Prior to her move to Baldwinsville, she taught school in Connecticut, Germany, and Greece. She's been a resident of Baldwinsville since 1987. See, we're moving forward. It is here that she raised her two children, Todd and Elizabeth, and began her career as a guidance counselor. In addition to her two children, Pam is a proud grandmother of 14-year-old Avery, and she is. For 3 years, she was a guidance counselor at Eldon and Elizabeth Street School. She continued her work in guidance for 30 years at the Fulton High School. Since her retirement in 2007, we're getting there, she has brought her counseling skills to her volunteer work throughout the community. Pam has been a Rotarian for 13 years and serves on the local board of directors. You'll find her helping with Seneca River Days, the Big Chill, fundraising, and other activities which give back to the Baldwinsville community. Pam has not yet learned to say no. True, and I don't think you're going to ever learn that word, Pam. Most exclusively, she has served for over 10 years as counselor for both the incoming and outgoing Rotary Exchange students, not just students from Baldwinsville, but from the whole Central New York district. Prior to the pandemic, she would spend up to 500 hours yearly interviewing, selecting, and counseling, and keeping track of students and their families, both at home and abroad. During the pandemic, and this one I think is just so interesting, she assisted a Baldwinsville student from France who was unable to return home during the pandemic. She continues to serve on the Rotary Youth Exchange team. Pam's counseling skills also came into focus as she works in a community-wide program called Hands of Hope, sponsored by the First United Methodist Church. The program provides support to those experiencing loss. And she sends out notes and reaches out to shut-ins throughout visits, notes, and phone calls. Pam is an active citizen at the Baldwinsville Public Library. She serves her second term as on the board of directors and puts forth extra hours and special meetings with the director and helping with the annual book sale. For several years, she has spent one Friday afternoon each month as a docent at the McCary Schoolhouse Museum, reading visitors and assisting shoppers. She has also volunteered one morning each month at the Female Charitable Loan Closet, assisting those borrowing and returning medical equipment. She has an ear to listen to the needs and those needing that service. For 47 years, Pam has been an active member in PEO, a philanthropic educational organization promoting women's education through scholarships, grants, and loan interest. Once again, putting her counseling skills and experience to work. She headed the scholarship fund at the state level, and at the local level, she participates in interviewing candidates and assisting with the application process. It's my pleasure to present the 2021 Volunteer Woman of the Year to an outstanding individual who loves her community and continues to give back so unselfishly, Pam Allison.
Oh my goodness. Is it on? Is it on?
Yep.
I'm going to be brief so that you have a chance to eat before you go to bed. I think, thank you, Jan, for doing that. And thank you to the board for choosing me and for choosing Leslie. And congratulations to you, Leslie. Well deserved. I come from a family of volunteers. And two things, I'm going to be really brief. I was going to say more, but I'm just going to
put your microphone on.
say, oh, I have to. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, just moving around too much.
I come from a family of volunteers. My parents were both very active volunteers. And when I was about 15, I was in Rainbow Girls. Does anyone know what those are?
Yes.
Rainbow Girls, okay.
Daughters of the Masons.
Yes, Daughters of the Masons and Eastern Stars. And my mother gave everyone a plaque to keep when she was mother advisor to the Rainbow Girls, and I still have it. And it was a wonderful saying by Albert Schweitzer, which said, "The only ones among you who will be truly happy are those who have sought and found how to serve." And I thought that is so true. So we as volunteers, and I know everybody here is in the same boat that I am, and that Leslie is, we've all spent our lives volunteering, gained so much happiness from doing that. So it's like we cheat, you know, because yes, we're doing things for other people, but we're also doing it because it makes us feel good too. We love to do it. And so I'm going to say one more thing and then stop. But I loved this quote too, and I think you will as well. Do all the good you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. John Wesley.
John Wesley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you won't be late for Rotary.
Now I'd like to take the opportunity to invite our board president, Barb Presley, up to give you a little update on the Volunteer Center, and then she's also going to do our blessing before we get to eat.
Thank you, everyone, for, no, right, that's not working.
Yes.
Just
hold
hold
it
it
up.
up.
Okay.
Closer.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for coming. I am always struck every year when I'm here, when I'm honored to be here, how important it is that volunteers keep our community alive, that we treat each other as, I think I love what Leslie said, that nobody volunteers alone. So you feel part of something all of the time when you're doing that or when you're able to help others. And I thought that was very special, and I think it kind of sums up tonight. So I'd like to just thank everyone for being here, thank everyone who is here, who volunteers. I'd like to introduce our board. Some of our board members are here. Lori Bernstein, she is the coordinator of Christmas Bureau. And Arian next to her, who is the chair of Christmas Bureau. Kathy Mazaway, who is our secretary. Morel, who is on our board. Mike Sheppard on our board. And Megan O'Donnell. I'd also like to take a minute, I think as that last table over there was lucky enough to be seated next to the desserts, we all know what's over there. But Mrs. Sheppard, Sally Sheppard, makes those for us, and they are delicious. So make sure that maybe you go there first. Anyway, I just wanted to say, are you going to do announcements about what we're doing? Or did you want to? Okay, all right. Coming up, we have our youth scholarship, so Volunteer of the Year Youth Scholarship that we give out, $1,000 every year. If you know anybody who is graduating and could use $1,000, please urge them to send in an application. We have not gotten too many, surprisingly. So if you know anyone, please urge them to do that. Our next big event, my personal favorite, except for this, of course, is Margarita Fest, and that is coming up July 16th. We have some new things. Mike and Megan are the co-chairs of that, and we have some special things happening this year, I hope. And it's always just the very best time to be out in the middle of summer walking around Baldwinsville. So please join us if you can for that. Other than that, after we get done with Margarita Fest, I think, oh, you know what, between Margarita Fest and, and the scholarship, May 21st, we are having a drive for our help project. It is the Baldwinsville Community garage sale that will be going on throughout all of the village of Baldwinsville, and we will be having a table, so if anybody can donate the items that we collect for the help project, which are all personal items that food pantries can't distribute, or don't distribute for the most part, or don't buy. We help provide our food pantries with that stuff. So toilet paper, paper towels, toothpaste, toothbrushes, all of that kind of stuff, any personal needs items. We'll be in Baldwin Square collecting those things. Then Margarita Fest. And once we get done with Margarita Fest, then we start gearing up for Christmas Bureau, which is certainly our huge event. So again, thank you everybody for being here. And again, I loved the quote about nobody volunteers alone. That was perfect. Congratulations. So I was tagged to be the person who says our blessing tonight. And certainly it is an honor for me to do that. It makes me a little nervous because I don't feel like I am the person who should be doing that. But what I told Megan is that she said simple was good. I said simple is all I know. So from the time that I talked, probably, this is the only prayer that I know. So however you would like to count your blessings, however you would like to get ready to have this wonderful meal and to honor these ladies, please join me however makes you comfortable. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you. Enjoy your dinner.
So we'll give the staff just a couple of minutes to get dinner ready, and then they will come and tell the tables when they can go up for the buffet. So.